Good evening, Sastriakal, Adab, and Namaskar. This is Ekta Sehgal, founder and chief strategy officer, Motherhood Club. A very warm welcome, literally because it's very hot in Delhi NCR, to all our viewers and to our guest, Ms. Dipika Agarwal. 20th March was International Happiness Day, but since it was a weekend after Holi, we thought all of you would be actually very happy because the hangover of the festival would still be there. So we said, all right, let's continue talking about happiness even after International Happiness Day has gone because happiness is not for a single day. खुशियाँ एक दिन की एक पल की मोहताज नहीं है खुशियाँ तो खुशियाँ ही होती हैं अब खुशी है क्या किसी का नाम है कोई चिड़िया है जो आपके पास आएगी और आपको सडनली खुश कर देगी it's like going from a frown to a smile. लेकिन खुशी कुछ तो है अब वो क्या है क्यों है कैसे है उस सब के बारे में मुझे जानना है एंड आई एम श्योर बहुत लोग ऐसे होंगे जो जानना चाहेंगे तो हमारे साथ आज हैं दीपिका अग्रवाल हु इज एन ऑथर warm welcome Dipika and allow me to introduce you briefly in my own words basis our conversation. I am not going to read your profile. We've already shared that with everyone. Dipika is an author. She has two books to her credit, one of which is Harvesting Happiness. In addition to being an author, she is a full-time homemaker, a mother. She has written more than 1500 quotes, which basically make your mornings totally cherishable. Every morning, all those who know Deepika receive a quote which actually makes you feel that chuck the negative thoughts. Let's just think positive. Automatically, happiness is going to come your way. I've been reading these quotes because when I get up in the morning, it's already there in my inbox. And many of them actually resonate with me. Deepika also has a few accolades to her credit. One of them we've just shared by Mentorex and Indo-Canadian Embassy. So, Deepika, a very warm welcome at the Motherhood Club. Harvesting happiness. Literally अगर हम उसको तोड़ें यानी कि आप हार्वेस्टिंग का मतलब होता है कि जो आपने बीज बोया है आप उसकी जो फसल आ गई है आप उसको निकालें और उसको उसकी जो प्रोड्यूस है उसको आप यूज करें और हैप्पीनेस खुशी तो आप हमें हार्वेस्टिंग हैप्पीनेस के बारे में बताइए लेकिन उससे पहले थोड़ा और अपने बारे में बताइए ताकि हमारे जितने भी व्यूअर्स हैं वो आपको और अच्छे से जान पाए
First of all, thank you so much, Motherhood Club, Akta ji, for introducing me so beautifully and giving it's an honor कि आज मुझे ये opportunity मिली that I am able to communicate via this medium through so many people. And once again, thank you so much. So as it is, you've introduced me so beautifully. इतना अच्छा से आपने मेरा introduction दे दिया, so I don't need to say much about myself. But yes, this is my book, again, Harvesting Happiness, which is very, very close to me. बिकॉज ये एक ऐसी बुक है जो मैंने सोच सोच के नहीं एक दिल से जो निकलती है ना कभी कभी कई बातें ऐसी होती है जो आप दिल से निकलती है और आपको मन करता है कि आप किससे शेयर करें क्या करें तो ये वही बुक है ये एक्चुअली लेखनी से ज़्यादा मेरा दिल है मेरे थॉट्स हैं जो मैंने एक बुक के माध्यम से लोगों तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश की है और हैप्पीनेस को हार्वेस्ट करने की कोशिश की है जस्ट लाइक अ फार्मर who knows how to harvest his crops in all seasons of his all the seasons of the year. Similarly, happiness is a seed जो हम सबके पास है. But the only thing is that we should know the seasons of our life and in which season how to nurture it. This thing we should all learn, and this is how we can harvest happiness in no मतलब कोई भी season आ जाए life का, we will always be harvesting happiness. So this
wow
is how I feel about happiness.
wonderful
It's absolutely homemade. It's absolutely homemade, and it's a choice that we make ourselves through ourselves. It is not dependent on anyone. uh, there are times when we start searching happiness outside, somewhere in maybe some, किसी को करियर में, किसी को कोई लोग में दिखता है, किसी को मटीरियलिस्टिक थिंग में चीज़ों में दिखती है, या फिर मे बी सक्सेस में. But I feel that happiness is a crop which we grow in our own field, and we are the nurturers. So let's not focus on the outside. Let's focus on inside, because खुशी हमेशा अंदर से आती है. बाहर वाली
बिल्कुल
चीज तो
सही कहा, बिल्कुल सही कहा। खुशी जो है वो हमारे अंदर है। लेकिन दीपिका, और जैसे आपने ये बोला कि वी ऑल सो आवर ओन सीड्स ऑफ हैप्पीनेस, बट
yes.
कई लोग जो कहते हैं ना, वो बोलते हैं कि हम खुश नहीं हैं,
Hmm.
राइट?
Yes.
और मैं खुश खुश रहना सीखना चाहती हूँ या चाहता हूँ, या मैं कैसे खुश रह सकती हूँ, रह सकता हूँ। तो क्या
Hmm.
वाक़ई खुशी कोई ऐसी चीज़ है जो हमें कहीं ढूँढनी है, जिसको हमें कहीं से लाके अपने अंदर डालना है? तो वो खुशी एक्चुअली क्या है? व्हाट इज़ हैप्पीनेस एक्चुअली?
सबसे पहले मैं एक बात बताऊंगी. देव, आई एम वेरी श्योर कि सबके लाइफ में कभी ना कुछ ऐसा मोमेंट हुआ होगा जहाँ वी हैव ऑल बीन वेरी हैप्पी और मे बी हैप्पीएस्ट. बट व्हाई आर वी अनेबल टू मेंटेन दैट ग्राफ? क्यों? क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं हम उस ग्राफ को मेंटेन करना भूल जाते हैं. खुशी में हम इतने खुश हो जाते हैं कि एट दैट टाइम वी डोंट नो हाउ टू रिएक्ट और हाउ टू बिहेव. उस टाइम हैप्पीनेस लगता है बस एक ये चीज़ है जो मुझे मिल गई. प्रॉब्लम तब अराइज होती है जब हम उसे, उसके ग्राफ को मेंटेन करना भूल जाते हैं कि उसे हमें मेंटेन कैसे करना है. क्योंकि मेंटेन भी क्यों नहीं कर पाते? बिकॉज एज आई सेड अर्लियर दैट वी आर मैक्सिमम टाइम डिपेंडेंट ऑन थिंग्स दैट आर आउटसाइड, दैट आर बियॉन्ड. आई मीन, why are we so much dependent on outside things? Because what I feel is happiness is a state of mind. It's completely our choice. कई लोगों को एक बड़ी गाड़ी में खुशी मिलती है, कई लोगों को स्कूटी में बैठकर ही खुशी मिलती है. ऐसा क्यों? ऐसा क्यों होता है? व्हाई इज दिस डिफरेंस? एक, क्योंकि किसी को कुछ और में, किसी को कुछ और में. तो ये जो चॉइस है ये हम खुद ही बनाते हैं. इट्स ऑल ऑन अस, एंड इट्स ऑल आवर डिसीजंस, आवर चॉइसेस दैट वी मेक इन आवर लाइव्स. कई बार गलत चॉइसेस होती है जो हमें दुखी करती है. कई बार ऐसी चॉइसेस हम बना लेते हैं जो हमें सक्सेस भी देती है. सक्सेस मिलते ही हम इतने खुश हो जाते हैं दैट वी अगेन लाइक, लगता है कि दुनिया की सारी खुशी मिल चुकी है. लेकिन उस सक्सेस के बाद आप उस खुशी को किस तरह से मेंटेन करते हैं, किस तरह से बैलेंस करते हैं, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. खुश होना
एब्सोल्युटली।
और खुशी को मेंटेन करना, these are the two things which, I mean, there is a difference between two of them, and you really need to understand how to balance your happiness. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम अपने आप को रोक नहीं पाते, एक्साइटेड, ओवर एक्साइटेड हो जाते हैं. ज़रा सी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों में कई बार हम ऐसा एक्साइटमेंट दिखाते हैं कि ज़रा सा कुछ हमारे हिसाब से नहीं होता है उसके बाद, तो वी गेट, वी स्टार्ट रिएक्टिंग, और मे बी वी गेट वेरी सैड कि हमारे हिसाब से क्यों नहीं हुई. So first we need to understand that we need to accept things what in the way they are. I mean, what is, apostrophe में मैं लिखूंगी what is the thing which we really need to accept. What is, and you don't need to change it. Let us understand how to accept things, क्योंकि accept और expect काफी सिमिलर लगते हैं सुनने में, लेकिन देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस. मैक्सिमम बार क्या होता है, वी स्टार्ट एक्सपेक्टिंग थिंग्स. एक बार कुछ अच्छा होता है तो आगे हमारी आशाएं और बढ़ जाती है, वो ग्राफ और बढ़ जाता है. और फिर अगर उस हिसाब से हमें सक्सेस नहीं मिलती, या फिर जो हम चाहते हैं वैसा नहीं होता, दैट अगेन दैट हैप्पीनेस ग्राफ्स गोज डाउन. तो इसी चीज़ को हमें समझना होगा कि जो आया जैसे आया, एक्सेप्ट इट. एंड हाउ विल यू लर्न हाउ टू एक्सेप्ट इट? दैट इज, लर्न टू स्टे इन द प्रेजेंट मोमेंट. जो पास्ट में हो गया दैट वाज अ पास्ट. जो फ्यूचर में होने वाला है वी रियली डोंट नो अबाउट इट. जो प्रेजेंट में है दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली इन फ्रंट ऑफ योर आईज. सो व्हाई नॉट लर्न टू accept the things as they are rather than changing them the way you want? तो मुझे एक ये बहुत ही सिंपल मंत्रा है, जस्ट स्टार्ट एक्सेप्टिंग थिंग्स एज दे आर, एंड देयर आई am very sure that nothing can, take away your happiness from you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Happiness, very rightly said, is being in the moment, is a state of mind. But unfortunately, a lot of people have started to associate happiness with meeting of expectations, as you said,
Yes.
success. It is, happiness has become very materialistic.
Hmm.
Happiness is not about you. Happiness
Actually,
is all about the environment that you are. That is how I think people are viewing happiness, and that is the reason I think,
when I
you know,
speak to people, people क्या काफी लोग मुझे बोलते हैं सक्सेस इज हैप्पीनेस, बट आई से नो, हैप्पीनेस इज सक्सेस, व्हाट आई फील. आप
beautiful,
थोड़े से वर्ड
absolutely,
को चेंज करिए, आपके जीवन की रेखाएं चेंज हो जाएगी. जस्ट
absolutely.
शब्दों के आदान प्रदान को हिलाने से, जरा जरा सा इधर से उधर करने से आपके लाइफ के मायने चेंज हो जाएंगे, आपकी समझ चेंज हो जाएगी. सो
जी, बिल्कुल.
हैप्पीनेस इज सक्सेस.
Correct. So, before we go any further, welcome everyone who's watching us right now live at Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to read out a few comments. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
So, you've been welcomed by Durga Dasji, welcome happiness expert and life coach. I'm
Wow.
unable to read the names today, it's some network issue, but yeah, so I think this is Durga Dasji's comment that happiness is really an attitude, a choice, a state of mind. Happiness really is really within. We are required to explore or we are required to learn as we learn through laughter yoga. Very rightly said.
Thank you
Uh,
so much. Wonderful.
my motto is in your happiness lies my happiness. In your happiness, okay, so this is Anita Mishra ji who's saying this. Ela is saying that happiness these days is measured on a meter of success, as we just spoke about that. uh, there is a comment which says expectations do hurt if not met. uh, so talking about the expectation, as you said that whatever expectations we have, so one is the expectation, the second is the acceptance of things. Once you have acceptance, perhaps the expectation lowers down, right? And as you said that, happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is success and not the other way around. So my question to you is, and this was also a comment that came on your Facebook post when you shared about today's event, that unfortunately our country ranks miserably on the happiness index. And I
Yes.
don't think there has been much change in the stats as compared to what it was perhaps last year. I think we rank some 138 or 139 on the happiness index. Why is it that we, the people in India, are still struggling to be happy? What is the main cause for this?
Mm, I feel there is a lot of lack of communication here, because people, what they think, they are unable to express. This is one major reason, because especially when I talk about, if I take an example of myself, I have been a homemaker from past 18 years, and there was a time when I wanted to do a lot of things. I really wanted to do things that makes me happy, which I am doing right now. But at that point of time, I did not have that courage to speak of what I wanted in my life. And so that is one reason that I was unable to express myself. Everything was inside me, but there was no way how could I take it out. But as soon as I started speaking about my dreams, my purpose of life, about myself, about when I started looking inside, that what are the things which I can do, in which areas or in which field of life am I expert. Just talk to yourself first. Your communication with yourself is the first thing which is very, very important. And the second thing is, once you start communicating with yourself, it becomes very easy to express in front of the world. So communicate with yourself, know yourself, interview yourself, that in which fields and which areas of your life you really want to excel, or in which field your interest lies. Understand, I literally noted down so many things. There were 10 to 12 things that came out, and finally I chose writing because that was something I understood that day, that yes, writing is one thing I can really do and I'm really expert and I love doing it. And that is one thing which came out, that I can also manage my home, my kids, and I can sit back at home and write and publish my books, and that is what I am doing. And then and there was a shift in my life. Everything changed. I started expressing. I became so much confident about myself, and people started knowing me. Just staying at home and writing books made me so many people started communicating with me that, hey, what are you doing? When I started writing quotes and posting it on every social media platform, so people started knowing me. They started, so it is not always that you have to step out of the house or you have to do something very big or very great to make people know who you are. You can do things which you want to do, but it's just that you first need to communicate with yourself and know what you really want to do, and that is the way you can express. So I think people in India, they somewhere lack in expressing themselves, or maybe there's a poor communication with ourselves, because there are a lot of times when people really need someone with whom they can talk or they can feel free, but people here are very shy, less confident, less courageous, I must say, because you need to speak up. And India is one place where people really think that might be if they speak up, कोई मजाक उड़ा लेगा या कोई कुछ कमेंट मार देगा, and because of that fear of comments or anything may judgments of people, maximum times, let people, you know they break down, or they just, they feel less, and they don't want to share it with the world. So this is one reason that why people are not happy with what they are doing and wherever they are. Once they start expressing, I think there are a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways.
Absolutely. I kind of agree with you that I think the most important tool or the most important skill that every individual across the age needs to
Mhm.
learn is the skill of communicating.
Very important.
And by communication, it doesn't mean that you just say yes, no, okay, no problem. Those monologues that people have. I think as soon as a dialogue is created, as soon as you are expressing what you really are feeling, even if it is any emotion that you're going through, the moment you
Exactly.
express it, one, you lighten yourself, because it is not possible that you will always be in the best of mood. You will
Yes.
always be kind of always having a perpetual smile on your face, and if anyone is doing that, perhaps it is artificial. So I think you're
It is.
very right in saying that the communicating is very important, and that's what we are also trying to teach our kids, that
And
please communicate.
one thing I would like to add on, that maximum times here people feel they don't want to show their emotions. They keep hiding their emotions, and this is one reason again they lack in doing what they want to do. Because it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel, if you want to cry, cry. If you want to feel sad, feel sad. It's okay to express your emotion. And once you express it, and I'm very sure once you express it, everything is going to come out, and you will feel so free, and you'll be more expressive. I mean, you can speak more about yourself. So please,
Absolutely.
friends, whoever is watching me, please don't hide your emotions. Feel the way you are feeling, and it's absolutely okay to show how you're feeling. Please don't hide your
Absolutely.
emotions.
Absolutely. Before we go any further, Mukesh Bhatnagarji Singh, follower of Dipika, learning a lot through her. Agree
Oh,
with your opening remarks, be original and genuine, then only happiness surrounds us. Actually, you look at any guru, any religious book, any religious talk that you would hear, across the board, there is one thing which is conveyed: stop begrudging. you know if you are going to constantly whine and crib about something which is beyond your control, perhaps you are sending away that actual happiness which lies within you. And I kind of love to quote this book, umpteen number of times, In Conversation with God, where 70% of your life is perhaps something that you asked for in a conversation, in a dialogue with God. But yet, the Almighty has been kind enough to give us 30% free will to decide how we want our life to be. And talking about the communication aspect, Dipika, I think that is where Motherhood Club also took birth, because when we were in a state of lockdown, you know, Motherhood Club existed before that. But what was Motherhood Club actually doing when it started to do talk shows? It was communicating. It was a one to one conversation between two people who were just trying to know each other better. And by that communication, there were two mothers effectively, because we were hosting mothers to begin with, talking about her journey, where just talking about her journey and for herself to realize that how much she has achieved in life was a change in the mindset that yes, I am a mother, but I am not just a mother. I
Yes.
have done so much and more.
Mm.
And very rightly said by you, that one doesn't need to really step out
Yes.
to do so much. Sitting
Yes.
within your homes, you can do so much, as you chose writing. So that's wonderful. And I think a lot of we have a lot of writers in our group who write poetry, who write stories, and they are actually finding their happiness in writing.
Yes, I mean, this is something like, even I didn't know. And past 2 years, we all know. I think that by staying at home, we can really do whatever we want to do. It's not,
Absolutely.
actually, the cage is formed through our thoughts and through our mind. There's
So,
nothing called it.
yes, if I talk about your book, the fact that you've written a book, Harvesting Happiness, I'm sure there is a lot to learn in that book. And for a lot of you, our Antarman issue, which was released on 5th of March, carries the book review of Harvesting Happiness, which was reviewed by Mr. Mukesh Bhatnagar, our official book reviewer for Antarman. So you are talking about some 108
Yeah.
beads of wisdom. Normally
Yes.
people would do their prayer, use a rosemary, and chant any religious name that they wish to 108 times. So, what are these 108 words of wisdom, and how do they bring about that change in life that
Yes.
will transform you and make you feel happy in your own self?
Uh, well, I would like to say that the beauty about this book is, of course, it has 108 beads of wisdom, that is 108 quotes. And the beauty about this book is, now also, if you open any page of it, you're going to get an answer which is there in your mind. I mean, so many people have personally messaged me, called me, and told me this, that I don't know, whatever page we are opening, we are finding our answers. So this is how the magic of this book. Even I didn't know this. I just wrote, but the review which I got from people is what I'm sharing with you. And this is something like written randomly through my self experience plus the observation which I have done. Observe people, or observe things, observe situations around me, and through that, what my understanding came, I just penned down in this book. And even I didn't know that, because at times when I open, I find the same thing, that something for which I'm confused, or maybe I don't know the answer, and I get the answer from my own book. So this is something magical about this book. And the beads came out when I see the chanting malas, which we all use for, in our prayers and everything, whatever we want to chant. So I thought, let me put something which will make this book religious, and people will should read it religiously. So this idea came into my mind, that I should write 108 quotes. So let me put it in beads, so that people will, I am sure, find something good and something great in this book, so that they can apply in their lives. When we chant, we literally chant for, it's a religious thing which we do. But I wanted to make this book religious, so that people read it every day. You don't need to read the entire book in one go. Every day read one quote, and I think it's going to help. You don't need to read the entire book in one go. So this
Wonderful.
is how this book goes.
So let me read a few quotes which
Yes.
I read every day in the morning, which Deepika shares. When today's no, this was yesterday. When we forgive a person without putting any conditions, we reach to a different level of freedom.
Yes.
I repeat, when we forgive a person without putting any condition, we reach to a different level of freedom. We all make mistakes. We all forgive many, and many would have forgiven us. But
Yes.
don't we really put a condition कि अगर ऐसा होगा तो हम तुम्हें माफ करेंगे? Or many times a lot of people say that I am forgiving you, but I will not forget what you did. Then you're not actually forgiving the person because you remember what the
Yes.
person did. Every person we meet is a lesson. Embrace the meeting. How beautiful is that?
Because
So,
maximum
Deepika,
times we should I speak?
yeah, please.
I just wanted to add that maximum times when we meet people, either it's a lesson or it's a blessing. But I feel every lesson is a blessing also, because in some way or the other we use it in our lives, and it definitely helps us to grow as a person. So, a lesson and a blessing both are equally important. And when we meet a people, if you don't like the vibes or maybe the energy of that person, we can always, you know, you we as a person, we know how to engage with that person. If you want to maintain distance, maintain a distance, but never say कि कुछ भी बेकार नहीं होता, इस पृथ्वी में कुछ भी बेकार नहीं होता, because this universe itself is a blessing for us. So whenever we meet people, try what you are learning from them, focus on what you have learned. अगर कुछ अच्छी मीटिंग नहीं भी हुई तो उसमें से भी कुछ अच्छा निकालने की कोशिश करिए. So embrace the meeting, and I'm sure it's going to help you in some way or the other in at any point of your life. This is what I have
Correct.
feel, and I have experienced it personally also. So that is why I wrote it.
Absolutely. And I think, when you write something, be it a poetry or a book, and especially if it is something which you have experienced yourself, I think the impact is a lot more powerful because you know what you're putting down on that book is something which you have lived,
I
and it
have lived.
actually works. It
Yes.
may take time for it to work for someone else, but it does work, right? So
Yes.
just reading a few comments, Dipika. So when we were talking about the emotions and talking about hiding the emotion, Ila says that hiding our emotion makes us more vulnerable. Absolutely right. You know,
Yes.
uh, and I think it's, as you said in the beginning, it's a fear of being judged,
Yes.
and that is something that I feel very happy when when I listen to a conversation here at the Motherhood Club, whether it is hosted by Ela or me. And I'm not saying this because this is my platform or my team's platform, which is Ida, Monica, Pooja, and myself. But I'm saying this because I genuinely feel very happy when I'm here. A conversation which has so much to learn from. Every conversation that we have done here for the last 2 years consistently, I think barring the time when I was down with COVID, we've been regularly doing conversations over here. And I think when you do conversations, there is so much that you learn, and as you said, you're able to embrace. Sometimes the conversation is not a very pleasant conversation because you're talking about a deep rooted problem, but from that also you are able to learn. So many of us have got ideas to write poetries. So many of us have got ideas to write stories while having these kind of conversations. So I think that it is very important. Durgadaji is saying that yes, every page has some beautiful tip for happiness. In happiness, every tip, every small thing works when we start understanding. And he's also saying that, Dipika Agarwal, I feel gratitude to get this happiness Bible as a gift from yourself. So he
Thank you so
is expressing his gratitude towards you. And of course, he himself is a Laftarian, so he understands the importance of being happy. So I want to ask you something. Many a times things are not going the way you want it to go. And it could be a very momentary thing. Suddenly there is a flare up, you're angry about something, right? How does one transit and make that shift in the mindset to once again become happy? Because you will get angry, you will get sad. कहते ना, वो
much.
तो गौतम बुद्धा जी ने कहा था कि ऐसा कोई नहीं है जो दुखी नहीं होगा अगर आप इस दुनिया में आए हैं. तो you will take birth, you will suffer, you will have illness, you will die. So how do we use that 30% free will to make our life happy?
You know what I feel? Maximum times people focus on what they lack rather than what they have. This is the main and sole reason why people are so confused with their own lives, because they really don't know that what is, because when I look at my life now, I feel there are so many things good that are happening to me. Of course, there are so many things which are that are happening which I really don't want them to be in that way. But when I start focusing on things that are for positive for me, I think I forget those negativity of my life, because there's so much blessing, there's so much good things happening around you. When you start focusing on good things, automatically you will not have any time to focus on what is not happening in your life. So this is one way through which you can shift your thought, you can change your thought process when you start looking the positive side of your life, the brighter side of your life. And this is how it goes, but you need to train your brain for that. And for that, I will suggest what I keep doing is yoga, meditation are two most important factors that must be a part of your life in your daily routine. At least take out 30 minutes for yoga and 30 minutes of meditation, which are really, really very beneficial and very important in each one of our lives, because little bit of spiritual enlightenment is very important in today's life.
Absolutely.
It gives so much
Yoga,
strength and understanding to maintain your graph of happiness also.
correct. So, yoga, meditation, communication, acceptance, less expectation are some of the key skills that we need to, hone and acquire. If you don't have them, to always be in a state of happiness, even though we may swing in and out of it, but that happiness is not going to be dependent on an external factor, but only and only dependent on you. After all, you are responsible for your own self.
Absolutely.
So, Dipika, if you look at a child, you're a mother yourself. When you look at a child, sometimes, we scold the child, and the child will be a little somber at that time, will cry a little bit, and the next second, they are happy. They forget all that had happened.
Yes.
But we adults, we keep, you know,
We keep
fussing and
storing things.
keep, yes, that
We
baggage
want
doesn't go off so
to
easily.
actually.
So, what changes from being a child, and as we grow to being an adult, what changes in our wiring that we forget that we have to be happy?
It's all about the experiences that life gives through the years. When we are child, we are much more focused on you know playing things, uh, touching things, or maybe just doing whatever we feel like to do. As soon as you grow up, you start getting engaged with a lot of outer people, the outer world. And I also believe that energy is work a lot, because we are into so much communication with so many different kinds of people. We get like, if suppose you're communicating with someone and the energy level of that person is not very high, or maybe not matchable with yours, you drain your energy. So that is one reason why people, as soon as they, when they're child, they are like mast mola. They have no, I mean, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो रहा है. But as soon as we grow, जब life इतने सारे खेल दिखाती है, you meet so many people, you deal with so many situations, you go through different phases of your life, you experience a lot of things which are sometimes good for you, sometimes not very good for you, sometimes they give you success, sometimes they drain you. So that is one reason that as soon as we grow up, क्योंकि अपने इतने सारे एनर्जीज के साथ मिलते हैं अलग अलग वर्क फील्ड में, चाहे वो फैमिली हो, चाहे वो बाहर हो, कहीं भी हो, तो कहीं ना कहीं हमारा माइंड सेट उस, आई शुड नॉट यूज दैट वर्ड, बट आई मस्ट से दैट वो लिटरली कचरा है जो हम भरते रहते हैं अपने दिमाग में, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो हाउ टू फिल्टर. So that is why I'm telling that little bit of spiritual involvement is very important, because that helps us to filter our mind, that क्या रखना है और क्या हटाना है. Yoga, meditation definitely is one thing, but little bit of spiritual involvement is also, it is very helpful, I must say, because you learn to filter things.
आपने
So
बिल्कुल सही कहा कि फिल्टर की
जी,
जो आपने बात की ना, the way the body is structured, one head, 2 ears. Listen, process, take out what is not needed, keep the rest over here.
yes,
It's, I think it's so simple. Uh,
very simple. You just need to learn how to filter, and the problem is solved. क्या रखना है और क्या हटाना है. This is the process.
so, for all of you who are watching right now or who would watch this conversation at a later stage, if you thought that there were going to be some complicated solutions that are going to come your way about harvesting happiness, perhaps it is really time that you look within. Because the moment you start looking for it outside, trust me, it's not going to come to you. It has to be within. कहते हैं ना, सारे जहां में आप उसे ढूंढते रहेंगे, पर अपने अंदर ही नहीं आप उसे ढूंढते हैं, इसलिए तो वो आपको मिलता नहीं है। और जब आपको वो मिलती भी है, तो आपको लगता है कि अरे ये तो बहुत छोटी सी है, मुझे कुछ बड़ा चाहिए। बिकॉज वी ऑल रन आफ्टर बिग थिंग्स, वी ऑल रन आफ्टर सक्सेस।
Actually,
तो वो जो बड़ी खुशी है, वो इन छोटी छोटी खुशियों से ही तो आती है। तो क्यों हम बड़ी बड़ी चीजों के पीछे, ओके फाइन, यू वांट अ बिग कार, परफेक्टली ओके, यू वांट अ बिग हाउस, फाइन, बट इमेजिन हैविंग अ बिग हाउस but staying in that house all by yourself,
not going to work.
having a big car but not being able to drive it because there are potholes on the road. Or you want your house to be very clean, you clean your house but you throw the garbage outside your house, and when you go out, your own thrown banana peel, you slip on it and you fall. What's the point of that? So it's a change in the mindset for everything and anything that you do, which will bring in happiness.
Absolutely. A shift of thought. There will
A
be
shift of thought.
situations. There will be situations which will drain your energy, which will, make you feel sad. But at that very moment, that, as I said earlier also, when you learn to stay in your present moment, I don't think so anything can stop you, because when you learn to stay in that moment, you also learn how to make a shift to your thought. कि अभी ऐसा है, कोई बात नहीं, accept it as it is, and the time, the next moment obviously change होता है, but everything that is here is going to change, nothing is permanent, everything is going to change. So this is a kind of shift of thought which I start giving to myself whenever I'm in any odd situation, or any kind of thing which is happening to me, which I really have to struggle for it. I just I accept it, and then I give a thought to myself that it's not permanent, it's definitely going to change the next moment. So why to regret or feel guilty or feel sad about it?
Absolutely. Anita Mishra ji is saying no medicine cures what happiness cannot. Happiness is a form of courage. Happiness is just you. आप ही है
Absolutely.
वो खुशी, कोई और नहीं है आपकी खुशी, आप खुद हैं। आप खुश हैं तो everyone around you will be happy. I
Absolutely.
remember hearing a conversation at which was being shared by one of the disciples of Brahm Kumari ji, where it was a very powerful statement, and then, it kind of got me thinking. It hurts you the most where you are already hurt. And an example that she gave was that if let's say your left hand is hurt, your right hand is fine. Somebody touches you on your right hand, you will have a smile on your face. But the moment somebody touches you on the left hand, which already is hurt, it will pain and you will not respond, you will react. The touch was the same, right? Which
So
actually
beautiful.
means that we need to heal ourselves. We need to identify our own challenges and weaknesses. And Dipika, I must congratulate you for accepting it on a public platform, that you actually sat down with yourself to find
Yes.
out that what is bothering you. And you owned it. You took responsibility. And
Yes, and
a lot of
I would like to say that anybody who is in such a situation, please sit down with a paper and a pen and start writing in the things which you really want to do, and you are like you're expert in doing that, and you know that there were so many things, and I had so many choices, and just A day before I was so confused कि मुझे पता नहीं क्या करना है life में. And then when I started writing, I saw so many things are there which I can do, and I couldn't see for so many years. So it's very simple. Everything is very simple. We make it complicated.
But yes, you're right. Thank you for saying this. And writing it down, very rightly said, when you write something with your own hands and not an like on a laptop or a phone, the brain
Yes.
gets activated. The hand and the brain coordination makes you think. You're able to see it very clearly. But, and sorry to put that but here, but I think the most important point here is, are you willing to be honest to your own self?
Absolutely. You are
All
absolutely
this happiness and all these things that Dipika said, you may meditate, you may do yoga, you may change your mindset, but the starting point for anything and everything is you. अगर आप अपने आप से सच नहीं बोल पाएंगे और आप वहां लिख ही नहीं पाएंगे कि आप में क्या खामियां हैं या क्या है जो आपको बॉदर कर रहा है, and the reason why most people don't do it, and perhaps it happens with all of us,
right. Yes.
because we again feel
Fear of
fearful
judgments.
to be
All
judged.
fear of judgments that people will judge us. People will make comments on us. They might not like us. We are more into what people like than what we like. This is the
Absolutely.
matlab, this is one reason where people really need to work on. I mean, we all need to work on, because at some point of time we are stuck somewhere, out of the
Yes.
society maybe, or because we are at times very fearful, but
And if
we
I use
also
a technical term for this, as per the the behavioral concept or behavioral psychology, which we normally use it in finance also, it's called the attribution bias. We are wanting to attribute everything and anything to an outside source rather than looking within. And the moment
within.
we stop doing that, happiness is
I think
going to get
it's
harvested.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful.
It's a seed.
So, yes,
It's
please.
a seed
Go ahead.
which is you can nurture in your own field. You sow it, you reap it, and I am sure it's going to harvest beautiful in all the seasons of your life, because you are the sole owner of your field and you know how to nurture it.
Right. So Mukesh ji is saying that I have used an expression while reviewing this book of hers. Think what goes into before harvesting of farm products. There is hard labor, patience, etc. There is expectations too, but still the man goes. So, is for happiness harvesting, what is your level of positivity, kindness, compassion? Then only there is happiness. Otherwise, selfie doesn't make you look happy.
Has
Lovely.
to be very, very
Absolutely.
compassionate.
Sometimes when you take a selfie, you look the worst because it's too close to your phone, and that's the reality, perhaps.
Yes, yes, yes.
There are
And
a
that
few
is
of
why
us who
we
have
really
mastered.
don't want to take our own selfies.
Some of us have mastered the skill to take selfies,
Yes,
but we've learned it. We've learned it. We've worked towards getting good selfies for ourselves.
yes,
This, we've set the
absolutely.
right angle, and
Same
I
self.
remember one of our, soul sister from Singapore, Vanessa, had some days back shared a picture of hers on her timeline, which took her hours to get the right picture because it was a selfie. She was trying to set the right angle and she spent hours to get that angle right with multiple shots. So, people, if you wish to really bring some change in life, you got to work for it. It's not going to happen overnight. But are we willing to look into the mirror and look at ourselves, who we really are, and what have we become? Is there a
Absolutely.
difference? Is there a pretense? Just one second. There's another comment. Absolutely, Anita ji. Happiness is direction, not a place. Very true. It's a journey.
It's a
It's not the
journey.
destination. It's a journey. So, Deepika, I'm wanting to ask you this question. When you wrote down all about yourself, whatever was bothering you, whatever you wanted to change, what prompted you to do that, and what was that moment which changed things for you, that you went in a into the journey of being happy?
Uh, there have been few dark years of my life where I must say that yes, I have already said, and today again I'm saying I am a depression survivor. I have spent years in depression, and because inside somewhere I knew that I am capable of so many things of doing, but I'm unable to do. And why is that? Why is that? Because there is a moment in your life, when we reach to the top, and now when we see and look back down, we don't want to see that journey, and we really want to change our lives. That ab bahut ho gaya. Now I need to bring about that change in my life. So हर चीज का जब पीक आ जाता है, then you want to take some other step. So that was one turning point of my life when suddenly मेरे दिमाग में आया कि no, I really want to. I spoke to so many people, I discussed with so many people, but nothing came out. Everything because उस point of time तक भी I was just focusing on what I had lacked. Past years में क्या हुआ, क्या मैंने किया, how I wasted my time, उसी पे focus था. But as soon as I shifted my thought कि how I wasted my time से how I will use my time, let me do that, let me see, let me think over that, how can I utilize my time rather than how I wasted my time. सब कुछ चेंज हो गया. सिर्फ मैंने बोला ना, a shift of thought. So वो एक shift of thought ही था, that how am I going to utilize my for the years. So that is what supported me in sitting back and writing down on what are the things that were bothering me and what were the things I wanted to do in my life. And when I saw the things that were bothering me, those were the things which I think it was my creation, which I only created. Because no, I must say that we are no one to blame anyone for what is happening in our lives, because we are the sole responsible and we are the owners of our life. So we cannot blame anyone for that. So it is just our shift of thought, and one shift of thought, that how am I going to utilize my time. It gave me so many ideas. Hundreds of ideas came into my mind. Suddenly my mind opened, all blockages went out. From negativity, it was all turned to positivity. As soon as I started writing, I so much, I came to know myself so much better. And I keep on saying this, that people, please don't hide what you're feeling just for the fear of judgments. Just be yourself and just express what you want to do in your life. Just be yourself. It is okay to not to be okay. This was the first line I told to myself. It is okay to not to be okay. Not all the times you can be okay. So that was one thing, first thing which I told to myself. And as soon as I told this to myself, so many things came out of me. And I started knowing myself so much better. I started, you know, literally, my life changed. And the next day I started, when I came to know that writing is something I can do, the very next day I started writing quotes. And like today is 5 years continuously, I'm writing quote every day, 365 days. So this is how I began my journey. This is how I changed my thought process, and I'm sure everyone can do it. Everyone can do it. It's just a shift of thought. You don't need to, wait for the time. You should create that time. You are the owner. You are responsible. So focus on utilizing rather than wasting. This
It
is
is
what I.
okay to not be okay.
Yes.
How many of us actually think about this? We always, somebody asks us, how are you? I'm super, I'm good, I'm doing fine. Maybe heart of heart, you're not. Find that person who you can communicate. It all boils down to communication. Many a times kids don't open up with parents, spouses don't open up with each other. And that is where the starting point happens. And you start building in everything. And,
Yes.
you know, things don't change because you don't want to change them.
Exactly. It's our
Right?
call.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to read out a few lines that awaiting a magic to bring the change, magic that we all believe lies with the Almighty. We always say, भगवान जी हमें खुशियाँ देंगे या भगवान हमें खुश करेंगे. Almighty, Almighty, where is my magic wand? Oh human, I already gave it all. Liar, liar, I have nothing but struggles, pain, and fear of losing all. Change the lens and see again, says the Almighty. There isn't any magic, but you yourself are the magic. Let's look at us as the magician of our life. Let's
So
stand in
wonderful.
front of the mirror and say, I am my role model. I do that. I love myself. And I have no qualms in saying that. Because if I can't love myself, loving anybody else is a pretense.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
So I think, yes, we need to change the lens. And that is what Dipika is trying to tell us, the shift in the mindset. And again, Dipika, salute to you for sharing a personal part of your journey, that what you went through and what you are today. You have worked upon yourself because you chose to say no to something that you want,
Yes.
and you took control of that 30% free will that is with you. Normally people would blame my karma, you know, it's my karma, that is why I'm sad. Or take charge. And when you take charge, things would change. Mukesh ji is again saying that you are making your book so lively, and the host too is bringing the best. Very good session going on. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Mukesh ji. He's also saying कि दृष्टिकोण matters. बिल्कुल सही कहा.
मुझे एक लाइन बड़ी अच्छी लगती है, अपनी नज़र बदलो तो चारों तरफ के नज़ारे बदल जाएँगे। तो
क्या बात है.
नज़र बदलो, नज़ारे बदल जाएँगे।
बिल्कुल
जस्ट
सही
रीड।
कहा.
जी, जी, ये
बिल्कुल
बड़ी
सही
अच्छी
कहा.
बात है।
बिल्कुल. आंखों पे जो वो चश्मा है ना, उसको हटा के देखिए. Many times people use those colored lenses. That colored lens is already there. Just you have to look for it.
यस,
So look for it, ladies and gentlemen. Stay happy, because happiness is a state of mind. It's a journey, not a destination. And I think we all really need to give it a thought, that why our country, which includes all of us, ranks so poor in the happiness index. यू नो फर्स्ट आना है तो आगे से आइए ना, पीछे से लाइन क्यों स्टार्ट की जाए. लेट्स वर्क टुवर्ड्स आवर ओन हैप्पीनेस. हम खुश, हमारा परिवार खुश, सोसाइटी खुश, देश खुश. ऑटोमेटिकली एक वो रिपल इफेक्ट क्रिएट होगा. और ये हमारी एक छोटी सी कोशिश थी आज, थोड़ी हल्की फुल्की बात करने के लिए, जो हमारी लाइफ को बहुत इम्पैक्ट करती है. और अगर आप देखें, अगर आप खुश हैं तो आप स्वस्थ हैं. और अगर आप खुश हैं, स्वस्थ हैं, तो आपके हर टाइप के विकास को, चाहे वो आर्थिक विकास हो, मानसिक विकास हो, शारीरिक विकास हो, आई डोंट मीन आप मोटे हो जाएं, बट आप हेल्दी रहें, हर टाइप का विकास होगा. You will develop, you will grow into a good and a superhuman being. Can we all work towards it? I think we can. I will, certainly, because I won't say that I am a perfect person. No, I am not. I also get angry. I also have my set of days which are terrible, which are wonderful, which are just about okay. But at the end of it, I find my ways to overcome my sadness and find my happiness. I'm just changing my lens.
वेरी
I'm believing in
नाइस।
myself. Wonderful. So, Dipika, it's been an interesting conversation. I read the review that Mukesh ji had done for the book. We spoke earlier today. We spoke a lot more at length, and I think you've brought in some very important aspects which a lot of people may know, may not know, may be hidden. But I think you have ignited that thought once again in the minds of many. खुश रहो, नजर बदलो, तो नजरिया बदल
नज़ारे
जाएगा.
नज़ारे
तो
बदल जाएँगे।
नज़ार सॉरी
नज़ारे नहीं
नज़ारे
बदलेंगे।
नज़रिया
यस,
भी बदले तो नज़ारे बदल जाएँगे.
जी।
बड़ी सारी कन्फ्यूज़न हो गई, नज़र, नज़रिया, नज़ारे.
एक
बट
चीज़ और
थैंक
मैं
यू.
बोलना चाहूँगी, जो
जी,
आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात कही कि आई एम नॉट परफेक्ट, मुझे भी गुस्सा आता है, मुझे भी। तो मैं एक ये मैसेज है जो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग आई फील बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट मैसेज है कि we are always hunting for perfection, and that is one more reason why people are so unhappy in today's today's world, because every time they want to be perfect in everything. They want appreciation. They want to be number one in whatever they are doing, and then the number one का definition भी कुछ अलग ही type का होता है लोगों का. So I just want to say that perfection is something which nobody has attained and nobody can attain. So be yourself and be happy with who you are. Of course, work on yourself. वर्क ऐसा करिए कि आपका आज का दिन कल से और बेहतर हो, और कल का दिन आज से और बेहतर हो. दिस इज अ मैसेज विच आई वांट टू गिव टू ईच वन ऑफ माय व्यूअर्स एंड टू एवरीवन, जो बाद में भी देखेंगे उनके लिए भी, कि हर टाइम अगर कंपैरिजन करना है तो अपने आप से करो, अपने कल के दिन को आज से और आज के दिन की कल से
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल
करो.
सही कहा। और जो
दैट इज
सवाल
व्हाट
मैं आपसे पूछने वाली थी, उसका आपने जवाब दे दिया कि आप क्या सबको एडवाइस देना चाहेंगे।
माय
और
माइंड चलेगा.
यू रेड माय माइंड एंड
यस.
वो कहते हैं ना कि जब एक बच्चे को हम देखते हैं, तो बच्चा जब छोटा होता है, ऐसे ही हँसता रहता है। सब लोग कहते हैं शायद उसको अपने पिछले जन्म की बातें याद आ रही हैं। फिर वो बच्चा थोड़ा और बड़ा होता है, तब भी वो हँसता रहता है। फिर एक टाइम आता है जहाँ पे उसको थोड़ी-सी डाँट भी पड़नी शुरू हो जाती है, बहुत सारे नोज़ आते हैं। वी आर ऑल गिल्टी ऑफ इट, वी कीप चेकिंग आवर चिल्ड्रन कि बेटा ये मत करो, बेटा वो मत करो, सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ। पर वो फिर भी खुश रहते हैं। So why do they do that? So before I close this conversation, दीपिका की एडवाइस हमने सबने सुनी कि हमें हम परफेक्ट नहीं है, I think as long as you're able to do something, if it's done means it's done. Why look for perfection always? And I think women are very guilty of this. We keep looking for perfection in just about everything. It's okay to not be perfect, but
Yes.
we have a long way. I'm also learning that it's okay to make, it's okay, a little bit of mess here and there. It's okay, keep thoda aise waise aap ho, which is fine. But I just want to read these few lines. Uh, Infectious is a smile on a child's face. Infectious is a smile on a child's face. They say they see each other and smile, even though they don't know why. बच्चे एक दूसरे को देखते हैं ना, हंसते लग जाते हैं. Generally,
एकदम.
they're just
Yes.
happy, right?
Contagious. It's contagious.
Contagious, absolutely. So pure is their heart, which reflects on their face. Wish we adult learn this art and face the tough time. 1 minute tear, the next second smile. Hold no grudge, laugh it off like a child. Life is too short to fuss and whine. So be the child who smiles all the while. We all have a child within ourselves. उसको जगाओ और उसको बोलो enjoy life to the fullest. मस्ती कीजिए, खुश रहिए और चलिए मिलके 139 या 138 का जो रैंक हमें मिला है उसको जरा थोड़ा बेहतर करें. जैसे बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि भैया बच्चों अगली बार से और बेहतर कीजिए और उसके बाद से और बेहतर कीजिए. और जैसे दीपिका ने बोला कि अपने आप से कंपेयर कीजिए ना अपने आप को. Why look for someone else for comparison?
Yeah.
Nobody is as good and unique as you are. You
Zero.
are just you. Mukesh ji कह रहे हैं take home lesson is it's okay to be not okay. One should give value to all emotions of self and others as well. Respect the criticism, anger, irritation, but do ponder upon कि ये क्यों हुआ. Enjoy life is what Eli is saying. Anita ji is saying everyone has shades in our life like rainbow. Be happy, stay happy. तो इसी खुशी के नोट पे आज के इस कॉन्वर्सेशन को यहीं विराम देते हैं. लेकिन खुश जरूर रहिएगा. और हार्वेस्टिंग हैप्पीनेस की किताब अगर आप पढ़ना चाहें तो मैं दीपिका से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी इफ यू कैन शेयर वेयर इज द बुक अवेलेबल एंड हाउ कैन वन गेट देयर हैंड्स ऑन दिस बुक.
Okay, this book is available on Amazon. और अगर आप कलकत्ता के निवासी हैं तो कलकत्ता के स्टार मार्क के सारे स्टोर्स में अवेलेबल है, प्लस द स्टोरी स्टोर विच इज़ देयर इन भवानीपुर, वहाँ पे भी अवेलेबल है. और इफ़ यू नॉट इन कलकत्ता यू कैन ऑलवेज बुक ओवर अमेजोन. अमेजोन पे ये 24 आवर्स अवेलेबल है.
वंडरफुल. तो अमेजोन पे जाइए. हार्वेस्टिंग हैप्पीनेस इज द नेम ऑफ द बुक. बुक रिव्यू पढ़ना चाहते हैं तो अंतर्मन रिलीज हुई थी 5 मार्च को. फेसबुक ग्रुप पे जाके मदरहुड क्लब के आप अंतर्मन को पढ़ सकते हैं जहाँ पे मुकेश जी ने उसका बुक रिव्यू किया है. और जाते जाते आखिरी कमेंट पढ़ रही हूँ आज के सेशन का. ईला जो कि हमारी चीफ हैप्पीनेस ऑफिसर हैं, वी हैव सम वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग डेजिग्नेशंस. शी इज आवर चीफ हैप्पीनेस ऑफिसर. because she also believes in spreading happiness in the life of one and all. She's saying, "Thank you, Dipika. You made me happy."
Thank you
So,
so much.
if our happiness officer is happy, I'm sure we've created happiness. So,
Thank
thank you, everyone, and absolutely wonderful talking to you, Dipika. And keep
you.
sharing your quotes. I'm sure sometimes those quotes are a must to change your mindset. नज़र बदलेगी तो नज़ारे बदलेंगे, नज़रिया बदलेगा। और आप ऐसे ही हमेशा हँसती रहिए, खुश रहिए। थैंक यू सो मच फ्रॉम द एंटायर टीम ऑफ मदरहुड क्लब, ईला द्विवेदी, मोनिका गोयल दीवान, पूजा दीक्षित एंड माई सेल्फ एकता सहगल। एंड सब
So
लोग
much.
मास्क ज़रूर पहनिएगा, अभी भी खतरा टला नहीं है। और आज हमने हैप्पीनेस की बात की है। कल जो चला गया वहाँ पे हमने पानी को बचाने की बात की थी, जहाँ पे ईला आई थी और शी गेव अस सम बेसिक टिप्स एज़ टू हाउ वी कैन सेव वाटर इन आवर होम एंड किचन। टुमारो अगेन मीट ईला to talk about some plant care tips, what to do, what not to do. So, meet Ela tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Motherhood Club. Till then, stay safe, take care, and thank you once again, Dipika, for
Thank you
being
so much
here
for inviting
and
me. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
spreading happiness all around. Thank you
खुश
so
रहिए,
much.
स्वस्थ रहिए, मस्त रहिए, नाचते रहिए, झूमते रहिए. That is life all about.
Wonderful. Awesome. Super. Namaskar, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Have a nice evening.